Hey, what's going on, my fellow idiots? Welcome back for another episode of Idiot Proof Cooking. I hope you all had an awesome holiday, a Merry Christmas, a Happy New Year. I certainly missed you guys. It's been a week since I made a video, I took last week off, so it's nice to be back. And with that, we are tackling some garlic bread today. I've been craving it. I haven't had it in a while, and like I ever need an excuse to make my own bread, well, I found an excuse to make some bread today. So we're going to be making some garlic bread today. Let's get into making it. So if you really want to make good garlic bread, you should make the bread yourself. So that's what we're going to do. Surprise, surprise. I'm going to show you how to make a nice and easy French bread in the stand mixer. Now bear with me here for a moment as I show you my new apron. It was a Christmas gift from my family. But anyways, into the bowl of the stand mixer, we're going to add in 5 3/4 of a cup of bread flour. Don't spill it like I just did, because then you'll have to clean up. Then we're going to add in 1 1/4 tablespoons of instant yeast, 2 tablespoons of white granulated sugar, and then 2 teaspoons of kosher salt. All into the stand mixer bowl it goes. We're then going to add in 2 1/4 cups of warm water, heated to about 110 degrees Fahrenheit. And then last but not least, 2 tablespoons of olive oil. Now I'm just kind of eyeballing it here, so approximately 2 tablespoons of olive oil. From there, affix your dough hook on your stand mixer, and we're going to mix this on a medium speed for the next 7-8 minutes or so until you get a nice, smooth, and consistent dough. Now it is going to be a bit tacky, a more hydrated dough than some of them we have made on the channel here, so your hands are going to stick to it. Clean off your dough hook, and it's time to extricate the dough from the bowl. As you can see, like I said, it's a little bit more tacky than some of the doughs, so you really got to work to get it out of the bowl. Here we go. But all we've got to do is knead it for a minute or two. You can even knead it in some flour if you want. It's not too tacky, but you do want to knead the dough for an extra minute or so just to really work in that gluten structure. From there, grab yourself a large mixing bowl, spray it down with some cooking spray or grease it up with some butter or olive oil, and then get your dough ball and drop it into the bowl. Spin the dough around to make sure it gets coated in the olive oil or cooking spray, and then cover it with plastic wrap and stick this in a warm, dry spot to rise. You're looking for it to double in size and takes anywhere from 1.5 hours to 2 hours, but that's what you're going to be looking at. Look at that dough. It is nice and puffy. So what we're first going to do is punch it to deflate it, and then we are going to extricate the dough from the bowl here, throw it down on our cutting board. We're going to flatten it out a little bit with our hands, and then use a bench scraper to cut the dough in half, because we're going to be making 2 loaves of French bread here. So just take one of the halves of the dough, set it aside, and then with the half you're working with, spread it out with your hands into a rectangle shape. I would say anywhere from 14 to 16 inches squared, and then roll up the dough into a roll. From there, you're going to pinch the ends and the seam along the bottom to seal the dough up and make your long French bread roll. As you can see here, I am pinching the seam along the bottom. You don't want it to unravel. And then you'll want to grab yourself a large baking sheet, line it with some parchment paper, and sprinkle down some semolina flour for the bottom of your loaves of bread. From there, go get your loaf roll and then place it gently upon the baking sheet, and then repeat the process with the other one until you get 2 large rolls of dough. From there, we're going to cover this both up in plastic wrap. Once again, spray down the plastic wrap with some cooking spray so that it doesn't stick to your dough. Cover your 2 dough rolls in the plastic wrap, and we're going to stick this back in the same warm, dry spot to let the loaves rise once again for another hour. You're looking for them to double in size. So once that's done, they should come out looking something like that. They are huge. It's at this point in time you should preheat your oven to 375 degrees Fahrenheit, because it's almost time to bake these. We're first going to score the buns with a sharp knife. I had to use use my hunting knife because I couldn't find my bread lame. From there, set the loaves aside for a moment and get out another large baking sheet because we're going to pour a few cups of hot water onto the baking sheet. We're going to stick this baking sheet in the bottom of the oven with the water in it while we're baking the loaves of bread. The steam from the water is going to give the loaves of bread a nice crispy exterior. All right, now it's time to bake these. So stick these in the oven for the next 25 to 30 minutes at 375 degrees Fahrenheit until they come out looking something like this. Look at how beautiful those are. Oh man, they smell so good too. They're nice and crispy on the exterior. Oh man, these are perfect. So we're gonna let these cool down for 1 to 2 hours until we can get into them. All right, it's been 2 hours later. I cooled them on a wire rack. So let's take a look at these. Look at how beautiful those are. All right, let me just see which one I want to use here. Both of them are quite nice and they're sizable, as you can see. All right, I've picked one. So we're just going to slice it down the center here, so bear with me. This is probably the worst part about cutting the bread. You're always worried you're going to screw it up and, cut too far up the top or down down it. You want it to be fairly even, and you know what? Not bad. But look at that interior. Look at that. Look at the gorgeous bread. I love making bread. All right, so we're going to just put both halves of the loaf onto a baking sheet here. We're going to set that aside for a quick moment and get out 3/4 of a cup of softened butter. Just give it a quick stir here, but we're going to make the butter to coat our garlic bread in. We're first going to start off by adding in 1.5 to 2 tablespoons of garlic powder, and then I'm going to crush in 6 to 7 large cloves of garlic. We want to make this really garlicky because we got a lot of real estate to cover on those huge loaves of bread. Don't forget to scrape down your mincer after you've minced all of your garlic, and then we're going to put in a decent amount of freshly diced up parsley. So mix that all together until everything is combined, and then you've got a delicious garlicky butter to spread all over your 2 halves of your loaf of bread. And that's what we're going to do now. So just spread all of the garlicky parsley butter all over your 2 loaves of bread. Look at that, look at that. And then we're going to finish this off with a fairly liberal helping of freshly grated Parmesan cheese over both slices of the loaf. We're then going to stick this under our broiler set to high and cook the garlic bread for the next 3 to 5 minutes until it comes out golden brown and delicious looking like that. Oh man, that smells amazing. All right, let's get in and try this. Now you got to eat it piping hot, so just get into it. I'm going to cut them up into little slices, and we're going to go in for the taste test because I am super excited to dig into some garlic bread. Let me give you a quick close-up shot of it here. It is beautiful. I love how this turned out. I love how it turned out. Oh man. All right, let's stop beating around the bush and go in for the first taste test. And yeah, it's good. It tastes like a fresh, super garlicky garlic bread. It is so good. The bread is nice and soft on the inside, but crunchy on the bottom and on the top and along the edges too. Like, it was just so delicious. I devoured a couple of pieces. Meg did, the kids did, Rose loved it, everybody loved it. And you know what the best part about it is? It was super simple to make. Like, the bread came together in no time, and then the garlic butter too, super simple. Then you just stick it under your broiler for a couple of minutes. Super simple. Oh man, guaranteed you'll love this if you make it at home, so give it a try. But anyways, let's call it there. This was a great video to get back to it after the holidays. If you liked the video, why don't you drop me a comment, like the video, or even subscribe to the channel. Thanks again for watching Idiot Proof Cooking, and we'll see you again soon.